Hey everyone, how are you today? So it is me, Day, and this is the first of a two-part series on resonance shifting. Today, we're going to go beyond affirmations and we're going to go into a creative experiment, a fun creative experiment of feeling vibrations in our body so that we can actually feel ourselves shift resonance and then how to remain in that space. Uh, you may remember, if you checked out our channel before, that we do teach mysticism and we teach it through the lens of Christianity. So essentially, it is Christian mysticism. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're teaching Christianity. Mysticism can be taught through so many different lenses. That's what's so amazing about mysticism, and that's why when one passes a certain threshold and essentially becomes a mystic, a lot of times religion kind of dissolves. And that's like that moment when you realize, oh, wait, they're all going to the same place. Mysticism is like a thread that can tie all the religions together. So you'll see that I'm going to teach some of this through a biblical scriptural lens, um, and that kind of hopefully explains that part of why that is even present. So that being said, let's get started. So if you've ever been into sort of the spiritual quantum world and you've ever kind of been into it, then you've probably heard people talking about shifting timelines. Maybe you've even heard people talking about creating portals. But what does that really mean? So when we talk about shifting timelines, um, you can imagine that you're going down a path, just down a walk path, and all of a sudden the road forks, the sidewalk forks, and you just take the other sidewalk. It's actually very, very simple. It's that easy to shift timelines. Shifting timelines could look like when one switches careers, for example, as a shift in timeline. It's a point in time where you just go, yeah, I'm not going down that path anymore. I'm going over here. So that's essentially what it is. Um, and it can happen very quickly, very quickly. And the portal aspect. So when it comes to walking through a portal from a mystical standpoint, one would immerse themselves in that new energy and then typically make some sort of decision during that time to shift timelines because it's easier once we've immersed ourselves in the new energy. This happens all the time. It happens without us knowing, um, probably more often than not. And it's happening all around us as individuals and collectively. So, what I'm going to talk about today is really what I consider to be a fun, imaginative way to create your own portal and to shift timelines very intentionally. We can attempt to create our reality at times, and it may not happen or it may not return to us the way we thought it was going to return to us. And a lot of times we may not necessarily stick with a certain path once we start it. And so, or sometimes we may begin or start attempting to create a reality and then we just sort of don't commit to it because it hasn't materialized around us. And so we think, this whole creating a reality thing is fake. But we are creating our reality all the time based on our beliefs and from a quantum mystical level based on our personal resonance, our vibrations, body resonance. Okay, so the fun exercise that we're going to start with, I like to call you are the star of your movie. You are the star of your movie. This is the movie. You are the star. We are little tiny fragments of God, and we're here to have experiences. And we have power in what experiences we do have. So, creating our portal, it does require some soul searching. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do in creating your portal is we're going to do some brain dumps. We're going to do some brain dumps. I like journals, but you can also talk to yourself. That's totally fine if you don't mind feeling that sensation of talking to yourself. It's very powerful. And you want to begin to ask yourself, what do I truly want? What do I truly need? And what is important to me? So let's start with those three questions, and you can put those down on paper. What do I truly want? What do I truly need and what is important to me? You can pause the video if you want to take a second, but I would just really allow this to flow out. Like, don't hold back. Really allow it to flow out. And it may take you a few days. When I first started asking myself, what do I want? You know what was crazy? I had no idea. I, I just really did not know. I was like, I think I was living in survival mode. Um, I was living in survival mode, of just so much in the moment. So it's like, what do you want? I want to wash the dishes so I can do the laundry, so I can get my son in bed. It was like my whole view was based around uh, just my day to day life. And I came to realize that I hadn't really taken a hold of the bigger picture yet. So, as you're doing this, I want you to please don't close the door on yourself. Leave space for opportunity. You don't have to be so specific. I know you've heard this before. People say, you really need to be specific. I don't think you have to be super specific. I think more so open the door up for the best possibilities to come your way. And the method that we're going to do when we work with these scripts that we're creating, the method that we're going to do is going to create the specificity for you. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be like, I really want a new car that's red and has, you don't have to do that. Express more of a high level feeling that you want to have in your life while you're with this thing that you're writing about that is part of your movie. Express more of the feeling that you want to have with that item or with that thing or with that aspect of life than being overly obsessed with defining the details of that thing. Somebody may want to go to school and they want to go to college, and um, they may think, okay, I need to write down, I'm in college by the fall. I'm in this major. I'm doing exactly this thing and exactly this thing, exactly this thing. How about I like I'm in college by the fall. I like a good timeline. But how about I'm in college by the fall in exactly the major I should be in that's best for me and feels excellent to wake up to every day. It enriches my future, and I love being a college student. You see how that is very much centered around how it feels, right? This is what's going to get us to the actual resonant shift versus obsessively writing about having specific things. Because in your heart and in your soul, you know you're supposed to go to college. You feel that and it feels right for you. Um, but you may not know exactly how you're going to get there. So that's why we leave it open for the soul, for the higher self to really fulfill. All right. So this is actually very important. And this is why I kind of said in the beginning, this is like a fun, almost silly exercise because to really get the most out of this, you want to have fun with this. Think about the power of a child, the power of a child's will, and the power of a child's energy to totally consume and captivate a room or a group of people, right? There's just something about that young energy. And so it's fresh and it's full of light and it's full of life. This is what we want to use. So have fun with it. Think about your favorite actor or actress in front of the mirror and they're playing the favorite role of yours that they played. And maybe it's like really wild role. And maybe you think to yourself like, how did they ever pull that off? I don't know necessarily how they pulled it off, but let's pretend that what they did was they stood in front of a mirror, or they sat with themselves and they worked through their script until it felt real. They worked through it in so many different ways. And you hear about actors and actresses sitting with scripts and working with scripts and working with a coach while they work with their script. Well, what are they doing? Why is it that they're able to get on the screen and convince us that they are this person to the point that we might be in tears watching them live life in front of us, right? So it's the power of truth in the body. And that's what we're working on. Okay. So this is especially powerful if you feel like your life is not in a good place right now. You might think, well, this is not going to work for me because my life is in such a bad place. I just don't even think, well, have you ever heard about the power of rock bottom? There's these funny memes going around in the spiritual community. By the way, the spiritual community has the best memes. Please email me your spiritual memes. I'll post them if they're, especially if they're funny. I'll post them and send them right through the YouTube channel. You can email me, right? I think you should be able to. Send them, contact me through the website. I don't know. Everything's linked below. Okay. So the power of rock bottom, the power of I can only go up, the power of we're in a place of building, honey, because everything's, you know, and that's not to say we're not analyzing our life and being like, could it be worse? That's not what we're doing. But the point that I want to make, and don't do that, by the way, don't do that. Don't walk around and say, let's put this out here right now. Emergency, emergency, 911, please, guys. Do not walk around saying it could be worse. And do not walk around saying it's always something. No, stop. In this resonance shifting world, we're not doing that, okay? We are speaking power, 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 and life. So let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the Bible. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, ancient texts, full of mystical gems, by the way, full of mystical gems. So let's read James 1, 2 to 9. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position. Oh, there's so much there. There is so much there. Um, if you are if you are watching this and you're thinking, my life's not doing well, there is a spiritual balance that can take place where if you are brave enough to release your cares to God, which means we say, the greater power, the spirit has me. If you're brave enough to do that, you can be at your highest point in your lowest, because that's when we come to realize that it's all an illusion. Okay. That's when we come to realize, like, wait a minute, you know, all of these things that I thought defined me that were so special and so important, I don't have them right now. All I have is myself, and I'm here now. And if you take that feeling and you connect it to what we talked about, the spirit of peace from episode 1, you connect that surrender to the spirit of peace, the comforter that Christ says was sent for us, then you can take pride in your high position in the spirit. So I am not encouraging anyone to be, impoverished. I'm not saying that you need to be or that you should be to accomplish anything. But what I'm saying is that if you're feeling right now like you don't have everything that you thought you needed, surrender into that, into a space and a position of self-love. You are enough. You're highly valuable and cherished, regardless of all of those things that you thought you needed to define you. So there is in James 1, 2 through 9, an amazing, I won't say magic, but an amazing spiritual tool. And that is the use of the power of joy. So we start off in verse 9 talking about using joy. And then I'm sorry, that's verse 2. And then by the time we get to verse 9, the scripture is telling us that we're in a high position. So the energy of joy and the power of joy is one of the highest resonant spaces that we can live in. Let's go to a visual here. One sec. Okay. And so David R. Hawkins is an American psychiatrist, and he, in many spaces, is well known for creating this map of consciousness. He was a spiritual teacher, and he was really into consciousness just like us. Okay, so when you look at the screen here, I want you to notice something. Way down at the bottom, we have this feeling of shame. So often, when we don't have the things that we think we should have, or we're not who we think we should be, we fall into this low resonant category of shame. Look at all of the ones in red: shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and they may feel like regret, despair, blame, and humiliation. And we go up just a little higher. Now we're in feelings of anger, fear, hate, anxiety, and we may be processing this information through aggression, through destructive behaviors. Okay. So these are the low resonant vibrations that we're going to move out of through this exercise today. You notice as we go up, things start to change for this individual. Now they're feeling a little more courageous. They want to empower themselves. Okay. And maybe you've felt this before. It's kind of like a marker on the path, you know. You start to feel courage to go for something more than what you had before. But sometimes, if it doesn't work out exactly how you thought or expected it would, then you shift back into anger and fear, disappointment, and things in the lower survival paradigm, right? But let's see where we go if we are in a state of courage and empowerment and we move up the resonant um, map of consciousness. So now we go into a state of trust, optimism. We may even find that we are offering forgiveness to those around us. We are in a space of acceptance. We have a willingness possibly to do something new, right? And we are processing things around us with intention and release, surrender, okay? And we've got this spiritual aspect coming in when we go from when we're at the level of acceptance and we start to embrace forgiveness, we begin to process things through this transcendent spiritual lens. So now you may have noticed we're moving up the chakra. We're moving up the chakra map as we're moving up the consciousness map. This is going to be important for the part 2 episode of the resonance shifting 2-part series, where I give you a meditation that you can do in your body. So now we're moving up, 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 up. We've moved into love. We moved into reason and love. And now finally, we reach in the spiritual realm joy. Oh, so count it all joy. Okay, that doesn't go along with maybe how we're told to behave when things aren't working out, you know? But look at the process. So go over to the far right and look at the process. The process is transfiguration. This is the big change. Through joy, we transform, we change our form. This is something that we will literally do in the meditation. It'll be linked below if it's already out. Um, and of course, we literally do it in the process that we're working on today. So, through this power, and as we go up, we see peace, enlightenment, we see pure consciousness, illumination. Through this power of joy, through this power of joy, we are able to access the great power of transfiguration, of personal change, the transformation of our lives, the transformation of the very cells in our body. And as I'll talk about more in the meditation video, not only are we changing our own cellular makeup, the etheric body makeup, the astral body makeup, but we're changing those things in the people around us as well. as we heal, we are healing the people in our vicinity as well. Okay, so let's pull up the notes again. Okay, so we're creating portals. So this goes back to what I was saying I want to focus on, which was that we want to make this fun and creative because we want to enjoy this. We need to connect to the joy of the script. So in creating the scripts, let's all do this. Let's pause the video and go into a time of reflection. So we're going to go into a time of reflection and we're going to write 1, 3, 10 scripts, brief monologues, and some could be a single sentence, that's fine. Mine tend to be about 1 to 4 sentences long. And I want you to write these out and you don't have to overthink it. You're just reflecting and you're going to totally massage this. So it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just let it all out. Okay. So before you go, I want to share something with you. I don't know where this came from. I know I heard this from Genie Dot, and I can't remember where I heard him say it specifically. But when we are working with the power of words and the power of sound to shift our resonance, when we are going to make a negative statement, we want to turn it into a positive for it to have more power. This is a great opportunity to feel what truth feels like in the body, okay? And to feel what resonance feels like in the body, okay? So let's see. Let me try to look at be one that I just used right now. Um, okay, I got it. It took me a second. Okay, so let's work with this one as an example. I am not forgetful. So I can be a little forgetful, right? And I would love to no longer be forgetful. So when we're writing our scripts, we are going to write something down that either may not exist in our lives yet at all, or it may exist, but we really want to juice it up with positive energy and give it more life. So we would then write what that thing is, even though it may not exist yet, and we would turn that into a script. Then we're going to massage our scripts when I show you how to actually shift timelines. So but one of the things that a lot of times we'll do is we'll say, I am not fill in the blank because this is something that maybe we want to change. I am not fill in the blank, right? Instead, we're going to say it differently. And I'm going to credit Genie Dot for this, but I don't know where it came from. And I do think that it's been around for a while. What we're going to do, instead of saying, I am not blank, we're going to say, I am blank, not. Okay, so this is the perfect opportunity for us to practice the feeling in the body. So you can see what I was talking about earlier when I said you don't necessarily have to believe this, you don't have to visualize this. All you have to do is feel it in your body. Okay, so you say yours and I'll say mine. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're different. I am not forgetful. I am not forgetful. Okay, so right there, I don't know if you felt that. Did you feel how, for me, even the moment when I said, I am, and even before I said not, I felt my energy go, "Ugh," because there's something about a negative that just lacks power, right? So we're going to say it differently. I am forgetful, not. Oh, did you feel that? Okay, guys, comment in the comments if you felt that. I'm not crazy, right? I am forgetful, not. Whoa, look how much more powerful that is. This is a first example of how you can feel it in your body. You can kind of potentially feel it in your face. Take note of how different the two sound. That's what I'm talking about. How different the two feel. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're going to work with. The feeling of the truth is going to be the evidence of the resonance shift. Okay, let's keep going. So we talked about counting it all joy. Okay. So we talked about, yes, okay. Thank you. All right. So we're about to move into the section that is about shifting timelines, right? So particularly to shift a timeline, we're going to take praying to a different place. Okay. So you may notice in the verses that I just read, what did you hear? You cannot doubt. If you doubt, it ain't gonna work. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? It was like, if you're gonna doubt, don't even ask, because good luck. And count it all joy if it sucks. Okay, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So this is how I read it as a mystic. What we're saying is we have to go beyond asking, honey. We are going into knowing. We're going into a space of complete knowing. And how do you know that you know that you know? Do you just like lie to yourself? How do you get there? The truth has to live in you in every cell of your body, every organ. The truth has to live in you. Um, and this is how you can get into this space of knowing where you're no longer asking. And when we step into a space of knowing and no longer asking, we are. That is the moment of I am, right? Like I am these things. There's not a question. It flows through me. Okay, how are we going to get there? Let me go back. Did we fully cover creating the portal? How do we feel about that? Put questions down below. I'm looking at my notes. If that didn't come through, let me just summarize. In creating the portal, what you're doing is you are defining the portal. You are defining the energy that fills the portal. All right, so now let's get into shifting timelines. We're going to step through the portal. This is the fun part. This is the part I think is fun. All right. So I hope that at this point you've paused the video, you've you've written a few scripts for yourself, and you're ready to work with the scripts now. So to work with those scripts, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to begin massaging. I call this section massaging the scripts. Okay. Once you get this down early on, you can really do this anywhere, but I would recommend doing this in front of a mirror. It adds a visual aspect. I'll get into that a little more in a little bit. So to massage the script, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe, take a big inhale, exhale, down, 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 ground. Okay, we're going to relax to begin massaging the script because we need to feel the script in our body. We're not only going to feel the script in our body, we're going to feel the resistance to the script. Okay, it's not going to be comfortable. We're going to feel maybe pain, maybe a shooting feeling, maybe a cramp, maybe a stiffness. I'm not kidding. You're going to find the resistance in your body. You're going to unearth the places in your body. A lot of times it will be in the gut where you have a different belief. You just have a different belief. And so, guess what? We're going to use a method of just moving the energy out. We're going to move it out. We're going to breathe into it and we're going to move it out and we're going to replace it. That's how we're going to shift timelines. Okay. Okay. So I did talk about that. Something may come up. All right. If something comes up, you know, um, journal it. You could journal it. Um, Affirm it. You know, speak to yourself. Okay. So let's go back to an example. I have an example for myself. Yeah. Okay. This is the example I'm going to be working with throughout the workshop, little mini workshop here. I love doing chores. Okay, right off the bat, did not come out true. Let me say, I wrote that down and I purposely didn't run it through my mind or my body at all. Because the moment that I wrote down, I love doing chores, I was like, it does not feel true. It does not feel true. So, in order to work with it on camera with my friends and everything, um, I'm going to leave it in an untrue state for now. So let's work. That's the one that I'm going to be working with everybody. So you're going to take an inhale and exhale. Make it a long exhale. Relax and feel your body a little heavy in your seat wherever you are. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you roll your shoulders out. If you do Tai Chi or Qigong, it's great to do that before this. Or if you exercise, it's great to do that before this. It's totally okay if you don't. I haven't this morning. I love to do chores. Yeah, that did not come out. That did not come out true. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Because you may be working with your script right now, and maybe you worked with one of your mini monologues or one of your lines, and it did not ring true when you said it. You were like, ain't no way, It's okay. Let's go down. We're going to go down into the body now. To create this timeline shift, we really have to create the other path. Okay. So we've made that portal, but we need that fork in the road and we need to resonate enough to take the fork. It's not just about, this is why affirmations don't work for some people because they stand in front of their mirror and they say these affirmations and they have not passed them through the portals of their body, through the energy centers of their body to even begin to shift their resonance enough to change their life. Okay, so this is what we got to do. All right. So there should be some things on the screen now to explain or to visually show you the chakra centers. So we're going to start with the lower three chakras. And I'm doing this live with y'all right now. I'm about to fall in love with chores right in front of y'all's face. And look, even I'm right now, I'm like, well, I don't know. Watch it work, y'all. Okay. So we have the lower chakra. You see where that is on the image. So what I want you to do is just in your own personal sense of body, you're going to connect to where that lower chakra is. And I can tell you that it is essentially at the lowest point in your body. I think I'm going to put an image on the screen right now, so you should be able to see that. I'd rather show you than describe it. Okay, so that's the lowest chakra. We're going to break the chakras down. Instead of getting too detailed into them, we're just gonna kind of break them down high level. So notice where that chakra is. Just have an awareness of where that is in your body. You don't have to do much. Okay. Take a few breaths into that space, and you may know it may for you be really. It may be tight. It may be tense. It may be feeling other things. That's okay. Just try to allow your legs to relax, your feet to relax. And now we're going to take note of where the sacral chakra is. This is kind of like on the lower waist area around sort of like in front of the bladder, you know? And so let's breathe right there. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing into that area, allowing it to relax. If you just realized you have to go to the bathroom, pause and go to the bathroom. Okay, that's going to help. Okay, great, you're back. Breathing into the lower chakras. That's all we're doing right now is we're just breathing into the lower chakras, okay? So we breathed into the lower two. And so now we're breathing just a little higher into what you see as the solar plexus. Okay, and so now we're kind of sitting in this, like, it's almost like you're sitting in a cup. Now that you've identified this lower section of your body and you're breathing, and as you breathe in, engage this cup that we're sitting in. So inhale, send the belly button out, exhale, draw the belly button in. Inhale, send the belly button out. Exhale, draw the belly button in. We're sitting in this lower chakra cup. Ah, feels good. Okay, so now let's go back to our script. The script whatever script you're working with right now. Remember the one that I'm working with is I love to do chores. Okay. All right. And actually, it felt a little more true that time. That's really interesting. Okay. So I'm going to send these words, I love to do chores, down into my lower chakra. Wait, what? I don't even understand. That's, I get it. I get it. That sounds wild, right? We're going to do it with our attention and with our intention. So just send your attention down into the middle of that cup. Just feel around somewhere in there. You're kind of like, for me, I'm like in my lower intestine, I'm moving around. Our meditation that we work on in part 2 of the resonance shifting 2-part series will also work on this. Okay. So we're down in this lower cup. Our attention is there. And now with intention, we're going to say our script. We're going to speak our script into this lower chakra centers. These 3 lower chakra centers. Take an inhale. Exhale. I love to do chores. Oh my God. Y'all, that just came through kind of true for me. Wow. Okay. So I didn't feel a ton of resistance in my lower chakras like I thought I would. Interesting. Okay. How did it go for you? Please, like, I would love for you to share. You can go on the Patreon, join for free, and you can comment, if you want to have a more private conversation like that. And you should be able to message me on there, but I haven't gotten any messages yet. Okay. All right. So remember, if anything came up, if you sent that down into your lower chakras and you're like, oh, I feel resistance, it hurts or something, or I'm so stiff, I can't relax. Breathe into the area, breathe into the area. And this is where you may find that you're going to slightly change the wording of your script. Okay. So my script right now that I'm working with is I love to do chores. It's starting to come through a little more true, but I'm going to massage a little bit. I'm going to say, I actually enjoy doing chores. There's a little surprise in there, like, I'm surprised to myself. I actually enjoy doing chores. And that feels actually true. Okay, so remember, I'm the star of my own movie. I'm writing my script. I'm the director. I'm directing this movie, and I may need to change the lines a little bit. I may need to change the blocking, which is like how you move your body, could be how you move your eyes, right? We're going to get into why this is good in front of the mirror, but let's continue moving through our chakras, okay? So now we're going to take a big breath, an inhale and an exhale. Relaxing, breathing, relaxing. Let's work our way up just for the body for a second. The feet are relaxed. The ankles are relaxed. The knees are relaxed. The legs, the hips are relaxed. I'm sitting down into my body. I take note of my lower chakra. I take note of my lower three chakras and where I placed them. Okay. Where I connected to the energy. And now I'm going to move up to the heart. And for starters, I'm just going to breathe into the heart. Just breathe. Just breathe. Okay. This is where you can get your first spark of joy. This you may have had one already, like don't let me take anything away from you, right? But this is where you can get your first spark of joy. I have worked with people and I'm one of them, who has felt so much trauma in life and maybe has felt so betrayed. Remember the map of consciousness, right? That they almost forgot how to feel joy. They forgot what it feels like. If that's you, it's okay. It's okay. I know. I know. My heart is with you, and I've been there. So now I'm going to share with you a little trick um, to turn on the switch for joy to remind you how it feels. Okay. So we're going to breathe into the heart. And by breathing into the heart, what I mean is I've sent my attention into my heart and I've sent my intention into my heart. I intend to send my breath into my heart, and my attention is on my heart. It's like right here. I know where it is. It's right there. Okay. And if this is like, I can't do it, it's okay. You just practice. You'll get better and better and better with time, I promise. So I want you to think of something that makes you smile. Think of either a moment in time. It could be a moment in time. For me, I can always, think of someone who I love who's dear to me. It could be an interaction with that person. It could be something as simple as puppies and kittens. It could be a baby frog. It could be baby animals are great for this. They're such a source of joy. Baby pandas, okay? Anything like this that makes you just smile, you've just sparked joy in your heart, okay? So now what we're going to do is sit with the joy. This is what I say, guys. It can feel silly, but this is the action of resonance shifting. Look, just a second ago, we were thinking of some of our harder times that we've had, and we just thought of something beautiful, and now we've sparked the joy within ourselves, and we can actually sit in it. So I want you to breathe into the heart. We're still doing that. And now let's read our script. Let's say our script. I actually really enjoy doing chores. It came out a little choppy, like my heart had a question about that. How did yours come out as it went through the heart space? Mine, I felt like a question came out. I felt like a question came out, why? This is how our one-liner scripts turn into little mini monologues, and that's okay. So I felt my heart it didn't pass through as easily. It passed through more easily through the bottom three chakras because these are very much about my life on earth and I'm moving about and I'm, okay, I'm doing chores, I'm cleaning, my lower body understood that, right? But my heart was like, And did you hear that pause? I couldn't get it to come out, truthfully, saying it the same way. So, if you noticed a hesitancy in your heart, that's okay. That's great, actually, because it means we just uncovered something. So, what more does your heart need? This is a major energy section of I mean, this is everything. This is the power horse, right? So we cannot deny the truth of our hearts. If our hearts are sending us back a big old question mark and they're not really buying it, it's not something we can ignore. So, and forgive me for looking down, guys. Remember, I'm by myself here, so I do have to check, make sure it's recording and everything. All right. So for me, I felt my heart asked me why. Like, you got to put some of me into it. It's almost like the heart is saying, you got to put some heart into it if you want me to buy it. I have the answer. I do. Why is because, and I've actually been seeing myself doing chores, right? Because I keep saying it over and over again. So I'm like seeing myself doing chores. Why is because it really honors my family. It really does. You know, for my family members to come home, to enter a room and the room is tidy and bright, for the dishes to be done, for the floors to be clean, it's an honor to my family. It's an honor to me. It's an honor to my home. Okay, so do you all see how I'm massaging? This is what I'm talking about, massaging the script. We can't just take it at face value. We have to resonate. If we're going to shift our resonance, we have to resonate in truth through and through the body. Okay, so I just wish we were all together right now and y'all could tell me what you felt from your heart. I hope that everybody sparked with the joy because that's very important when you connect to the heart. Just kittens, puppies, baby pandas, okay? Smile and then send the script through and see what questions your heart may have. And your heart asking why is common. It wants to know, why are we doing this? Does it mean something to our life? Does it have meaning? Does it have purpose? How can I get into it, right? So now I'm going to try my script again, but this time I'm going to give it some heart. I'm going to give it more truth. You guys want to do yours too? Okay, here we go. I love doing chores because it honors my family. I didn't really feel that. I felt that felt fake. What did you think? I felt that came across as fake. So let me go back. So right now, I'm massaging my script. Once you massage your script, you don't have to constantly like the effort that we're going through right now, you're not going to have to constantly do this. You're also not going to need to do this every day. We'll get into that later. You don't need to do this every day. You most likely shouldn't do this every day. It could actually harm you if you do this every day, okay? Not harm you, but work against the goal. It's not going to harm you. Okay. Um, Here we go. I love doing chores. Actually, I actually love doing chores. I actually love doing chores because it really honors my family. It honors them, it honors my home, it honors me, and it makes me feel like a better mother and a better wife. And yeah, I actually love doing chores. Oh, wow. Okay, that came out beautifully. Now, did you notice that when it first came out, it was still kind of like, But what I had to do is pass this through. Now, let's get to the next chakra because this is right on time. I'm passing it through my throat chakra when I'm speaking. Okay. And if it's not coming through, if the words are not vibrating with truth, the throat is going to be like, like it just doesn't come through. You can see it as kind of like seeming fake or something, right? So this is why we massage it. And when it comes to the throat, a lot of times what I like to do is send that feeling through the throat with a sense of sound. This is probably going to be kind of weird, but I mean, the channel's already weird, so yeah, I guess it's fine. Okay. So I'm thinking in my head, I like to do chores. I love to do chores. And now I'm going to send some vibrational sounds through my throat with this feeling of I love to do chores because it honors my family. Okay? It's starting to come out more and more true. Notice we've passed this through almost all of our chakras now. Okay? So this is the thing. This is the thing. So I'm just gonna, I'm feeling the feeling of loving to do chores because it honors my family. I'm feeling that feeling in my throat through vibration right now. Okay? I know it's like it's getting maybe a little more advanced as we go up, but what do you think? Can we do it? I think we can do it. Okay. So I'm gonna take a breath in. Hmm. After I do this a couple times, sending this almost like with a hum through my throat vibration, then I'm just gonna speak it. Okay? Inhale. Hmm. Touching the throat is good. Yes. We're touching the throat. We're loving the throat. We're thanking the throat for accepting this and for playing its own part, right? One more time. Inhale. Hmm. I actually love doing chores because it's an honor to my family and it's an honor to me and it's an honor to our home. I like that it probably makes my son feel safe to know that he lives in a clean environment. And honestly, he probably doesn't even notice, but it warms my heart that I know that he feels safe and my husband feels honored. Yeah, I actually love doing chores. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Let me tell you what I felt, which was kind of unexpected. Drink a little water. How did y'all feel? Tell me in the comments. Um, I felt my mind kick in with questions. And it's interesting because the next thing we're doing is we're going to go to the throat chakra. To the third eye chakra. And I really felt, as it was passing through, I felt my mind begin to ask questions like, girl, how you gonna do all these chores? Like, you busy, right? Like, okay, you love chores. Like, which ones you love? Like the litter box? Like, my mind was just like kind of giving me the, okay, girl. So what happened then was my script, although it came through pretty good, it didn't resonate logistically with my mind, right? And so when we're talking about third eye chakra, a lot of times we do get visuals. I know not everybody works with visuals, and that's okay. Some visuals come through the gut, which is really cool. So you may have felt some of that. Visuals can come through any aspect of the body, right? But so what I'm thinking, if you got resistance, if you felt any resistance as you started to go up, and maybe your logistics is kicking in and going like, I don't see how that's going to happen because XYZ and XYZ. And so here's one thing that we can add. We can literally add, I don't know how, but I don't know who started this. This is another one of those sort of famous affirmation type of tools. So we tell our mind, I don't know how, but okay. And then the mind goes, oh, okay, I can get with that. Yeah, we don't know how, but somehow, because at least that's something the mind can grasp onto to say, oh yeah, we've had stuff like that before happen where it's like we never saw that coming and then it came and okay, yeah, we don't know how, but yeah, sometimes stuff just happens and it works out. Okay. So it's like the brain can work with that, right? So I'm going to go again. This time I'm going to breathe and I'm going to not visualize, I'm going to experience myself relaxing. I'm going to experience my body relaxing. I'm going to re-relax the body all the way down the legs, all the way down the feet, all the way down into the earth. Okay, my body feels weighted into the earth. I'm not detached. I'm right here. I'm here. Okay. I'm going to breathe into my lower three chakras. That nice cup. I'm going to use my belly button to kind of stir the energy of that area. Yeah. I'm going to take a breath as we move up to the heart. I'm going to remember my spark of joy. I'm going to come through the throat with a hmm, hmm, a little bit of a humming, a little bit of a gratitude. I'm going to come up to the mind and I'm going to say it. You ready to do your script too? I don't know how, but I love doing chores. I love doing it for my family. I love doing it for myself, and it honors my household. Stop, full stop, y'all. I noticed something. You may have experienced something even similar. When I said, I don't know how, but I love doing chores, that was like enough. It was totally true. I felt it. It was true. It resonated true. When I tried to add on the other things, it didn't resonate as true. So here's an important point. Sometimes, y'all, massaging the script may mean that we say different things on different days, because we're finding that truth within ourselves. Some days we may be feeling more gut centered, we may be feeling more heart centered, we may be feeling more mind centered. So we don't know for sure, right? We can practice this exercise of passing the truth through our entire body, relaxing and breathing. But once you find it true, don't be tied to the script that it has to say a specific thing. Once you find it true in your body, let it be and then sit in the energy. Now, this is a big part of it. Just be in the energy. Okay. So I'm going to go again. You want to go too? Will we go together? Here we go. I don't know how, but I love doing chores. I don't know how, but I love doing chores. I don't know how, but I love doing chores. I don't know how, but I love doing chores. There we go. So I massaged it through until it hit as true. And then I release it. I don't have to keep going. I want to hit that place in my body where it feels true, and then I let it go and I sit in the power of the resonance that I created. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not I'm not ruminating on it. I'm not repeating it. I'm simply sitting in the power of that resonance that I created. Okay? Okay, so now we are going to go to our top chakra, our crown chakra. And we're going to send the message into our crown chakra, but we're going to do this in a very relaxed sense because now we're connecting with that higher soul. We're connecting with that higher plane energy. So, if you will, just kind of imagine a crown on your head. Imagine a crown on your head. And then imagine that that crown has energy going up, up, up. And that is the crown. The crown is this light energy that's sitting on your head and going up, up, up to the ethers. And so now you're going to close your eyes and you're going to breathe into this crown. Inhale, exhale, breathing into the crown. And now you're going to say your script that you're working with now. I want you to do it in a very relaxed manner, and I want you to do it internally. Okay? So take an inhale, an exhale, internally, quiet, without speaking, within yourself. Okay. I don't know what you felt, but what I felt is that I sent this information up and it was given right back to me as a blessed piece of information. It was as though I put my stamp of truth on it. I sent it up into the holy ethers. The holy ethers stamped it and sent it right back down. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe, relax, and I'm going to feel through my attention and my intention this truth coming back down through the crown, just down my body, down my body. Remember, we passed through these chakras already, down, down, into my root, into my lower three chakras. And I'm just going to send it all the way down to that lowest chakra. Remember, we talked about in the beginning, that lowest point chakra. I'm going to send it there and allow it to rest there. Just allow it to rest. It did so much work. It went through our whole body, and we passed it through our etheric body, and we sent it up into the astral, and we received this gift. And so here we are now. We sent it up to the higher self, and we received this gift of it almost being anointed. It is anointed and coming back down, and we're going to settle it down into our root chakra because now it's just a part of our life. It's just a part of who we are. Okay. So what happens as we start to practice this and as we start to shift our resonance, you may start to remember, wait a minute, I'm a super powerful spiritual being. You may get flashes of seeing the world around you in waves. You may get a download. It could even be just a brief blip that like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm creating my reality. Like for me, every now and then when I'm working with my scripts, I'll have this moment of like, shoo, where my reality kind of overlaps into this space, and I realize that I'm existing in all places at once, and I've transcended space and time, and this is an illusion, and I'm just kind of playing a game and I'm having fun. And it turns out that I'm the star of my own movie. Wow. Okay. And so as we start to get this revelation, um, we can sit in the resonance of even that. And when we sit in the resonance of that, let's go back to our map of consciousness. Let's go back to the map of consciousness for a second. When we practice shifting our resonance to essentially a God consciousness, we begin to know who we are. We begin to remember who we are, as like when Christ reminded those in scripture that they are gods. We begin to live in a state of enlightenment. And if you look at the map of consciousness there, it's at the very top. What comes in the middle? Peace. And that's where, that's what I was talking about, sitting in the resonance. That's an important part of it. The joy and the peace are important aspects of holding this higher resonance. We want to take a moment to sit in the peace of the resonance that we've created. Don't worry about the fact that, wait, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. Remember, I don't know how, but, and then let it go. Don't allow yourself to go down into the lower consciousness items on the map. And if you do, it's okay. It happens all the time. Just go take a shower, take a nap, have some food, go for a walk, just fulfill like some of your most basic needs. And don't judge yourself harshly. And you can make a space for you to shift back. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but that was something that I wanted to share with you, was that as you practice this, you may begin to remember more and more who you are as God living your life. So that can be quite the awakening. Okay. And yes, it can be a part of a simple exercise like this. Okay. So why do I think it's good to look in the mirror to do this exercise? Looking in the mirror creates this experience of accepting who we are. So, like when I spend time with my scripts and I'm looking in the mirror, and by the way, like I said, I don't do it every day. We'll cover that. Um, I'm not like doing it after I've got myself all done up and I've got makeup on and I've already put my mask on, right? And now I'm going to look in the mirror and do it. Actually, no, I like to do it whenever I'm in my sweats and my afro is lopsided and matted on one side and no makeup and, just hadn't plucked the mustache, whatever. That's when I like to do it, because I want to accept my raw self, the raw human self that I am right now. I don't want to have to believe in a fake version of myself in order to shift my resonance. And we don't have to do that. We already saw it for ourselves. It's just a matter of finding the wavelength, the sound wavelength, and making it true throughout the whole body. So, where they say like, well, if you want to experience, you got to dress for the part and, I don't know, dress to impress and all this kind of stuff. It's less about that. And it's more about inner truth. So I like to just be myself, looking in front of the mirror and allowing that experience in the mirror to dissolve any fake energy, any fake self-image that I may have. I will gently look myself in the eyes and talk to myself. And I find that I have um, more I immerse myself more in the resonance that I'm creating when I look in the mirror and I just accept myself for who I am. And I go beyond the human and I attempt to focus on the soul of who I am, the truth, my essence, put it that way. So I look to focus on the essence of who I am and not a mask, right? So I gently look myself in the eyes without judgment. I relax and I accept that I'm receiving help, that I'm not alone. Okay, so that is also probably a part of this. Although it is a very scientific process because we really are affecting the quantum field around us. We really are doing that with our thoughts and our words and the feelings within our body. So we really are creating a portal and we really are shifting timelines, right? Um, but that being said, uh, I actually forgot what I'm saying. God, I have no idea what I was saying. Oh, Lordy. Okay. I look myself gently in the eye without judgment. I don't know where I was going with that. Just beautiful tangent that seemed like it was really going to go somewhere. Oh, I think this is it. Okay. That we are connected to our higher self and our higher soul. Should we take a little moment to kind of define what that looks like? Or, we're here on Earth and we are the human living within source. I'm hoping I have a visual representation of that on the screen for you now. We are the human living within source. But we're not just this. We are also a massive, massive soul, a massive soul who is living every lifetime it's ever lived consecutively right now. That's who you are. That's who I am. And guess what? To the point that I am you and you are me. We're just sitting here talking to each other, talking to ourselves. So, having help, I believe, is where I was going, is a big part of this. Knowing that's what it was. Knowing that although we are doing a scientific process, and we really are doing it, we also have help doing that process. So I'm here in the physical, in 1D or 3D, however you like to look at it, and I'm doing the work. And as I'm doing the work, I have a higher soul. And within that higher soul, I have helpers. And above and beyond that higher soul, there's even more helpers all the way up into the original source and all the way out until there's only one. And there seems like there's many of us, but there's not. We're all doing the work. And we're all working to keep things in alignment and to support things in processing the highest possible outcome. So no one is alone in this. No one is alone in this. Looking at my notes. Okay. So why is this not a daily practice? I just know you want another daily chore because you really love doing chores, right? I know I do. Um, so why is this not a daily practice? Because we don't need to overdo it all we need to do is hold the resonance. We do not need to anxiously repeat the resonance. All we need to do is hold it. So once we're in it, baby, we're in it. And sometimes you might wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you might go like, I don't know if I'm feeling it today. If you're not feeling it, that's okay. Here's what I ask you to do. Don't uh don't go deep if you can into ruminating on negativity. If you're not feeling good, it's okay. Just surrender to the moment that you're living in. Just be, just exist, and just keep moving forward. Things will change. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to use our scripts that we wrote to shift timelines to a higher resonance. We're going to use we're going to use those scripts as tools to combat a lower resonance when it tries to creep in. This is why shifting your resonance is like the number one most powerful way to break spiritual attachments and to you can work with it as well to draw in soul fragments but I'm really aligning with the spiritual attachments aspect because when we have spiritual attachments, and let's frame what they are because people think of them as much more scary than they really need to be. Think of a spiritual attachment as not much different than a germ, not much different than a germ in your regular environment. I wouldn't go around, licking my desk because germs, right? Um, and they're not much different than parasites that we all have. Even if we do a parasite cleanse, like turns out we still have parasites. Like it's a part of life. There are other things getting energy from other things, it's part of nature. It's totally natural. And so even spiritual attachments, although people can get really creeped out by them, um, they're normal. They're totally normal. They're normal and they're natural. And so an action like this is an action like this. What lost my train of thought again. Come to me, darling. Come to me. I am forgetful, not. I am forgetful. I am forgetful, not. I am forgetful, not. An action like this is like an immune booster for the spirit. Shifting resonance is like taking your vitamins spiritually and checking in to your own resonance, seeing where it is, and then using your scripts to combat any potential germs, aka attachments that want to come into your sphere. That's just regular maintenance. That's just taking your vitamins. That's it. Nothing like has to be fancy about it. So what we're going to do then is, for example, if I did wake up on the wrong side of the bed, I checked into the resonance of my body and it's like, well, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to focus on the negative. That would not be good because that's going to take me down the map of consciousness. And next thing you know, I'm down there in the bottom. I feel ashamed for how I feel. I feel guilty. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. Oh my gosh, no. Instead, what we want to do is don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't even worry about it, honey. I have a very simple script that just goes like this. My life is in order. My life is in order. It's fine. It's fine, baby. It's fine. If I wake up and I'm not really feeling totally whatever, it's fine. My life is in order and it's okay. I don't know how, but it is. It's fine. So see, I'm going to use one of my scripts to combat the unwanted resonance. And then just naturally what's going to happen is just tick, tick, tick. I will just tick right back up. Okay. And I can kind of feel some people are being like, it's not that simple. It's way harder than that. And listen, sometimes, to be completely honest, and I have definitely been here, I have felt before, and I just speak from my own experience, that I was so low in a pit that if somebody told me that I just needed to speak scripts to myself, it might make me mad. It might have made me really mad. And I understand that. So if you are watching this, if you watched it this far, and you have that feeling of like, I'm so sick of people saying all I have to do is talk and make myself feel better when I'm dealing with so much crap and everything, start small. Just start really small and it's okay. Like, don't be hard on yourself at all. Don't think negatively of yourself. Take a little bit of time to look over that map of consciousness. And I plan to, ooh, I hope I do, put a document that you can download. I just need to figure out how. I will, don't worry, I'll figure it out. With some example scripts on it for you in case, you're just like, I don't know. But just start small. I totally understand. Y'all, I've experienced some really not so good things in my life as well. Many that could be relatable to some and some that may not be. And I know we've all been through our own things. We're not always in a place where we want to get in front of a mirror and pretend like we're well when we're not. And so I understand that. So in that kind of case, start so small and with so much love and compassion for yourself that you open a door for something that might be exactly what you need that other people may not understand. How about I can get up in the morning and find my way? I can get up in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I always find my way. When I wake up in the world, I do see good people around me. I do. So you see how we can take some of our lower feelings of never want to get out of bed. I've been there. Thinking that the world is a terrible, terrible place and there's no good people, losing our faith in humanity. A lot of people say. And we can create a script out of that that allows us to just shift our path a little bit into one that has hope. Something so, so, so simple is perfectly fine, and it's a perfectly fine beginning. So, we are going to use these scripts as ways to maintain our inner monologue. That's essentially what I mean and what I'm saying when I say that we're going to use these scripts as tools now. We're no longer going to allow our inner monologue to remain at a lower resonance. I get it. We may wake up with that feeling, or our day, our moods shift throughout the day. The planets shift throughout the day. The people around us and our environment shifts throughout the day. And so oftentimes we're feeling so many feelings, but we want to use our script. If we want to maintain this resonance shift, we want to use our script to maintain our inner monologue, which means you decide what's true. You're the star, you're the writer, you're the director. Some negative inner voice that's not you doesn't get to decide your life, doesn't get to decide your movie, doesn't get to write the script. You do. And that's what this is about. Let's see, let me do a little reassessment here of where we are. So we talked about God, we talked about the mirror, we talked about not overdoing it, right? That we do not need repetition. We do not need to do this every day. What we need to do is just hold, right? We talked about combating lower resonances with higher resonant sound waves. We talked about using joy. We talked about massaging our scripts, right? So now let's talk about how this might show up in our lives. So let's hold a gentle expectation, okay? I'll give you an example. Um, so I had a script for a person who I was picking up every day. This could be for in your life, it might be a roommate, it might be a child, it might be a partner. But I had a script for them and for their enjoyment of life because a lot of times they had a stressful day. And so when I was picking them up and they were on their way to the car, I would begin, I would speak the script that I had for the joy and abundance of their life. And I would smile because I wanted to spark the joy resonance within that script. So I would smile as I said it, and I would be at peace, and I would get the resonance within myself, and I would release it, right? Which is an act of surrender. And that created just a gentle expectation within myself, a small bit of excitement. And do you know that almost every time when they got in the car, they had some really good, positive stories about their day and about their life. And whether it was related to what I said or not, which I feel it was in many instances, I connected it to that, honey. Not to say that I told the person, oh, I spoke that into existence for you. No, nobody wants to hear that. I promise you, don't do it. Um, More so in a state of knowing. So I took that opportunity to take this bit of evidence and tie it to my state of knowing to expand on the resonance that I had created in that environment. Okay. So we're going to sporadically check in with ourselves to make sure that we're staying in tune. I talked about that. You'll just kind of check in. And if you feel you need to sit down with one of your scripts or with all of your scripts, do it. It's time. So if maybe it's been 2 days, maybe it's been 3 days, maybe it's been a week, and you haven't sat down with all of your scripts in a couple days or whatever, test it out. Go back, go through the list, and just kind of check and see where you're falling in your resonance, and does anything need to be massaged? So over time, The passing of the resonances through all of your chakras kind of will be like a faster process. You'll be so in touch with your body and with your chakras that you will literally pass it through without even, without even really having to pause much. You'll just sort of feel it and you'll be aware of your full being. Until that happens, then just do a similar exercise. Just kind of remember we're just breathing into those spaces, speaking into those spaces, keeping an open mind as we experience how those scripts hit, right? So that's how you check the resonance. And don't start thinking to yourself like, oh, I don't need to do it. She said I don't need to do it. I don't need to do it. And then next thing you know, you're going to be like, it didn't even work. I don't, no, you really do have to check in with your resonance. And you really do have to do the inner work of combating the um, the negative self-talk. So replacing the self-talk that might go against your scripts and your monologues, replacing it with the scripts. So those are two pieces of work that really do have to happen fairly consistently, but not daily because we don't want to obsess. Definitely check in daily with your energy, but you don't have to obsess because we don't want to create fear. We don't want to create anxiety, right? Okay, so we may notice that the world around us begins to change. We may notice that our family is affected. We may notice that our home and our neighbors are affected because the power of our resonance, it has the power to change the whole world. That's what's so cool about this. You will notice that your habits will change in alignment. Not only will the external world begin to change for you to create the truth, excuse me, but your own habits will change to begin to align to the truth. So think of it as we have energy going out and we have energy coming in, right? We've created this big orb of resonant energy all around us, and the energy going out and the energy coming in are in alignment with that resonance. And so we see the world outside of us start to change and start to shift. We see the world within ourselves start to change and start to shift. And then when that happens, our habits will just suddenly change. And it's like, won't be even really that big of a deal. It just is. So, like literally, that's how it's going to be. It's just going to be like, it didn't take a lot of effort. It just kind of happened. Huh. And when that happens, take it in stride. Don't obsess, okay? I get it. I get it. We like to obsess sometimes. I totally understand. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so this next one, I said this next group, I said these are my my opinions of potential results. So attachments will fall off, as we talked about, right? Because the attachments can only attach because it's almost like you could think of it as like spiritual transmitters, neurotransmitters, but they're spiritual, that the attachment can cling on to. And if it's not there for it, the connection's not there. So attachments will fall off. Sickness may reverse. You may begin to sleep better. You may begin to dream more. You may begin to heal more quickly. Um, Especially, let me say, if you are feeling ill, I'll tell you, one of the ways that I work with illness, if I feel illness in my body, typically pass it pretty quickly. And one of those methods that I use is passing through all of my body, all of my energy, primary points of energy, like we did today, passing it through that I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm strong. And I also like to say, I'm not my body. So I am not sick. My body may be dealing with something, but I am not sick because I am not my body. Remember what I am. Remember what you are. This huge soul with these huge angelic helpers and beings and God and all the greatest aspects of Source are all within me and me within it. So this is one of the ways once you start working with this resonance shifting, you can use resonance shifting to combat illness. Let's see. Looking at my notes, you will begin to align with your higher self. You'll begin to align with your higher soul frequency. So definitely things are going to change. And not only will things change, but primarily what will happen first is you'll feel different. And this is where the illusion falls away because you go, wait a minute. I thought I could only feel good and feel high in life on life if I had all of these things. I don't have these things, yet I shifted my resonance to a person who has all of these things, and my life is still kind of the same for now, You'll notice that at first. You'll notice that you are operating in your higher soul frequency before the material changes come. And that's really how it works. That's exactly how we create our reality. Whether it be high or low, whether it be good or bad, we vibrate at the frequency first, and then the material matter around us begins to align, right? So again, you're the writer, you're the star. So now you're just intentionally doing it versus somebody else handing you a script who, did you sign up for this, right? So let's focus on that's what it means when we say creating our own reality. I always thought it sounded kind of, I don't get it. And I kind of thought it sounded a little bit like BS, to be honest with you. I thought, because I saw people like trying to sell workshops and stuff, like how to do it and everything. And then one day it just clicked. Um, yeah, that it's essentially energy work. Okay. So some things might break down in life. Um, you know, some things might break in order for them to be fixed, right? So it might be that we put a new resonance out and a couple things in our life go, "Gah, gah, 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 gah," and they start to break down. And so don't be afraid, okay? Thou shalt not fear, for I am with you. You are with helpers. You are not alone. And so if you're shifting timelines, one of them is going to break down, dissolve, and go away. And so, it's like that equivalent of like you're on your way to work and you forgot a paper that you needed. And so you have to drive back home and you're in so much traffic and everything just sucks. But then you get to work and it turns out that it was a really good thing that you weren't there earlier in the day. And it's really good that you're here now. You know, we just, we have these moments where we don't understand that something breaking down, like in our lives, is contributing to the remake. It's contributing to the buildup, the new buildup. So, okay. Yay, I actually made it to the end. How long is the video now? I don't even know. All right. So that is the completion. That is the mini workshop on shifting your resonance. Okay, I'm back. I lost connection there for a second, but I'm back. So there it is. That's actually it. I got to the bottom of my notes. So this is how to shift timelines, how to create a portal and shift timelines. Is it what you thought? Is it completely different? Is it something that you've heard before? I mean, I would love to hear from you. In part 2 of the resonance shifting series, we are going to be doing a light workers meditation. And this light workers meditation is going to be similar to what we did today, but it's going to be more detailed. Excuse me. It's going to be similar to what we did today, but it's going to be a little more detailed. And we're going to go through it step by step and the experience of it. And both of these things they work together beautifully, and they're both designed to shift your resonance. Remember that when you shift your resonance, yeah, you should feel it. Yeah, you will. You will feel it. That's what's so beautiful about it. That's what's so special about it, is that you can do that. And sometimes you may not be really feeling like shifting your resonance through your scripts, and you may want to break. And so you can shift your resonance through the meditation that I'm going to share. So I think you'll love that. Let me explain to you about the free Patreon, because it could be confusing. So a Patreon is free, and there are videos that I'm just not fully comfortable putting on YouTube, because some of these spiritual things that we talk about, oh, I don't know, they're just a little different. So, but my folks will get it. So if when you join Patreon, when you go on there, you might notice like it says like upgrade or something. You do not have to upgrade to get any videos or anything of the sort. If you upgrade, basically what you're doing is you're donating to help us produce, because there's a lot of like software and subscriptions and things, hardware that we need and that we use. And so it's super helpful. But just becoming a free member will get you behind the scenes to be able to see other things that aren't on YouTube. Okay. So that's what that is about. And yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here. What else? Episode 2, Mystic Verse, coming soon. Y'all, I love you so much. And thanks for being here with me. Feel free to send me questions or comments. And yeah, all right. Well, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Love is the language teaching